work this thing. All right, man. We are back. So, welcome back to the Built with Attention podcast, man. It is episode 5. And look, it is your boy, Randy Finn, the man behind the madness, the man behind the mic. Wow. Dog, I have been gone for like 2 months. This is actually crazy. I'm here to face, I'm here to face my not my demons, but I'm here to face my L. I started the pod, started off hot, and then I just kind of fell off. So, we're gonna talk about that at the end. We'll talk about how I, kind of fell off for a little bit, but we back now. We focus. We back. We refocused. We refreshed. I'm only doing this shit in one take, so we back, man. But yeah, it is episode 5. Like I said at the end, if you stick around, which you should definitely stick around. I'll give you guys a recap of what I've been up to, and then just some quick updates on the pod and all that stuff. I know I mentioned I was gonna start dropping episodes every Monday through Friday, and then I disappeared for like 2 months. I think it might have been over. It might, bro. I might have dropped. I don't even remember the last time I dropped an episode, but we'll chop it up at the end, okay? So, but to somewhat keep the tradition of the pod going, I'm gonna get right into the topic for today. All right, man. So you see the title, man. Master being alone as a man. To be honest, I haven't really came up with the title yet. It's gonna be like "Alone is the Way" or "Being Alone." Something about being alone as a man, right? I'm only doing one take of this episode. Um, so on today's episode, we're going to discuss why being alone as a man is actually a complete superpower and why you should master it and what it looks like how to identify someone who is not used to being alone, right? Okay. So, but first, let's explain what being alone is, right? So first, let's make this clear, right? Being alone, simply put, is pure isolation. It is distance from everyone and everything that causes you distraction and or moves you away from your dreams, desires, and goals, right? So that's Finn's Google definition of being alone as a man. That's my Google definition, right? So being able to master the ability of being alone is one of the many superpowers that we as men can tap into, right? Okay, so I'm going to discuss this more at the end, but this plays into the story, so I'm gonna mention it. So I was in Florida maybe about 2.5 months ago, kind of like right whatever I dropped that last episode. I think maybe about a week or two went by, and then I had went to Florida, right? So something I wanted to do. I've been watching these videos, or at the time I had been seeing these videos about like kind of resetting your dopamine levels, you know what I mean, or your like nervous system. And they say, I saw a bunch of different things. They were like, you could stare at a wall, you could the main thing was like, hey, you could just sit there and stare at something for like like 20 minutes, an hour, anywhere from like 20 minutes to an hour, right? So in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm going to Florida, might as well sit on the beach, enjoy like the natural sounds, like you got the birds. So I wake up super early, or I really love waking up super early, right? So hearing like the birds, the waves, like all of that stuff, I was like, that would be perfect for me. That I could just stare at the ocean. Like that's a vibe, right? I made it, sound super dramatic. So I ended up doing that. But this particular day, I ended up getting to the beach like I don't know, like noon, basically. Kind of like when there was like a ton of people there. So, but I said, you know what, bro? I said I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna just do it now. Let's get it. So brought my tripod, took my phone. I actually recorded it. It's on my Instagram right now, and I did like a little, like a little time lapse video. A time lapse video when you know what I'm talking about. You record it, but then you just sitting there, but the video goes by super fast, right? So I kind of just wanted to do it to kind of like document it or whatever. And my favorite part about this was I had a young kid. He was like, what was he doing? He was like throwing a football with his dad and his brother. I'm assuming they were his dad and his brother. And it's just funny, like they were looking at me like, yo, is he okay? Like, because I was just like legit, I was just staring straight at the ocean. Like people were walking by. It wasn't just them. Like I had a few people like walking by, looking at me and stuff, and they were just like, and I was just like look like dead straight, like not moving. Like it was kind of funny. But the reason I did that is because like I wanted to be like in a tranquil environment and like just kind of be by myself and kind of just, you know, reset my nervous system almost. So I go out to eat by myself pretty often, maybe like every other week, or it's pretty often, right? And I remember posting on Instagram once, just like myself at dinner, and I had people joking like, "Oh, who you on a date with?" Or "Damn, like, are you actually eating by yourself?" And it's just funny to me, man, because to me, going out to eat by myself is really not that strange of a concept. Like to me, it's just like normal. Like I like doing stuff by myself, right? I mean, I mastered the art of being alone. I was like 12, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, I could sit in the crib for like a week and really not say a word, if I'm being totally honest with you. So being able to just sit by yourself, like in your own body, your own space, without worrying about any other noise, is just like a super undefeatable method that we as men need to master. But why is that, right? So think about it. If you can't sit with yourself, how are you going to be able to like talk to a woman? Maybe not talk to a woman, but like lead a woman, you know, get things done. You know, when I think about what it's done for me, like I'm calmer. That's just a byproduct of mastering this. You know what I mean? I'm more relaxed. I can, it's weird when people are around me, I'm not really like, it's not like I can't handle it. And that might sound weird because it's like, oh, if you're so used to being alone, then, you know, when people come around, like, what do you do? But I don't know. I always consider myself an introvert, but anybody who meets me will be like, dude, you are not an introvert. And I just think that's so funny because, so I got that balance. Like, what's the word? When you not an introvert, but you're an extrovert. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So, but yeah, so it's just like, dude, like I'm totally capable of like not saying anything for a week. And like, I'm just calm. Like, you know, like I can control my emotions just because I'm used to being alone. So, okay. So I got a quote that kind of puts this into perspective for you. It's from a French philosopher. I came across this, not too long ago. I can't remember his name. So, okay. Quote goes like, quote, all of humanity's problem stems from men's inability to sit quietly in a room alone, end quote. So there's more to this quote. Well, actually, that was the quote, but then there's like a follow-up. So I'm going to break this down for you really quick. So really quick, if you know me, you know I like to geek out over quotes. Really, I geek over about a lot of things like anime, you know, any fictional things in general, music. But like quotes, we can add quotes into that because I really geek out over quotes. You know, I like to analyze, look for deeper meanings on topics, blah, 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 right? So I could be reading too much into this, but that isn't the case this time. So here's another quote that I found that kind of breaks this particular quote down. So let me repeat it. Quote, all of humanity's problems stems from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone, right? So, end quote. So this next quote that kind of explains that quote goes, quote, Pascal. So that's the name of that's the name of the philosopher. So, quote, Pascal suggests that human beings create unnecessary chaos, conflict, and misery because they fear boredom and solitude, driving them to constantly seek distractions to avoid facing their own thoughts and inner selves, end quote. So that's a bar. So my perspective is this. So first off, I wouldn't completely say all of humanity's problems stem from men's inability to sit by themselves, but I still think the quote has like a ton of merit, right? So my interpretation of it is simply like, if you can't be alone and embrace things like boredom, solitude, having to face your issues, that we just naturally, especially like as men, I'm speaking to men right now, but I know some ladies are going to listen to this. Shout out to y'all, by the way. So my interpretation is that since we can't be alone and embrace things like boredom, solitude, having to face our issues, that we just naturally head towards distraction because it's so easy to just like, hey, like in a nutshell, it's like, damn, like, hey, I got problems, but you know, I I got partying that can distract me. I got women that can distract me. Kind of, you know what I mean? Just I can kind of forget about my issues because I have so many distractions. And honestly, man, as much as I love social media, I mean, this is a form of social media, me communicating this to you guys. Um, it is so easy to get distracted. Like, genuinely. So I had this conversation the other day, right? So somebody was telling me how they deleted Instagram. And I was like, okay, that's what's up. Like, I'm not going to, that's great, right? But sh what did she say? She was like, yeah, like it's too negative and it's too many, too much going on. And I'm like, okay. Then I was just saying like, hey, like it really just depends on what type of things you're looking up. Like for me, right? My algorithm is like self-improvement stuff, entrepreneurial stuff, anime stuff, like fictional stuff, maybe a little bit of funny stuff in there. So, and I'm not saying like, okay, yeah, I should scroll on my phone for like 16 hours a day, but I'm saying when I do go on there, I'm seeing things that are like to my benefit. So like I curated it to where I'm not looking at a bunch of stuff that's, toxic like politics and I'm not saying politics aren't important or like toxic, but I'm just saying like it's a lot of, it's just a lot of divisiveness when you go into those realms, people arguing about stupid stuff, a bunch of drama. So it's about how you use whatever you got at your disposal. But anyway, so it's so easy to get distracted. And my next topic I want to go into is doing deep work on yourself. So I'm not going to go too deep into this because this alone could pretty much be its own topic, right? So I'm not going to spend too much on it, but I do want to like frame this a certain way, right? So, this is funny, but this is like something that's been in my head recently. And I thought of like this as like a funny metaphor. So it's funny because it's not really on my script, but I'm gonna just like kind of come off the dome with it. But my adults lied to us growing up, and when they said vampires aren't real, right? So, because we got a lot of vampires roaming around outside these days, right? You know what I mean? What do vampires do? They suck the blood from you, aka your life force, and they drain you. Pause, right? So, a lot of men, right? Because I'm speaking to us, a lot of us, we enter these relationships. And I'm not just specifically talking about romantic relationships, but romantic relationships are a big one. And we enter these relationships like not fully healed. So we take like our trauma, our bullshit, and we suck the life out of other people. Does that make sense? So you can offset that. So let me add this too. People can genuinely like drain you. Like that's a real thing, bro. And to me, when people are like, hey, like, you shouldn't, I'm not going to, how do people say it? They like, oh, you should cut people off, or like, you shouldn't always, like, you got to protect yourself. I'm kind of like on the fence about it sometimes, because part of me is like, damn, like I kind of want to be there for some people. But if it's to my detriment where they draining me, okay, then it's like, all right, I can't really be there for you. You know what I mean? Because now you draining me, and talking to you is more of a chore. You know what I mean? Like it's not something that I look forward to, because every time I talk to you, Kendrick Lamar has a song about this. It's called "Cut You Off." So I'm a big Kendrick fan. Been a Kendrick fan since I was like 12, before Good Kid, before T-Pap, all that. And basically the song goes like, I'm trying, there's a line where he says, I'm trying to surround myself with people that inspire me, or at least inquire similar desires to do what a TAKE just to reach the TOP. I'm gonna listen to that later. But basically that song is about how like people can really drain your energy. It's called "Cut You Off." Go listen to it. But it's about how people can drain you. And he kind of dives a little deeper in that track. He's like, yeah, every time I talk to you, you talking about this person need a pap smear, this like just a whole bunch of dumb drama stuff, right? But meanwhile, I'm trying to surround myself with people that inspire me so I can be the best version of myself. That's the overall sentiment of that, right? So people can definitely drain you. And I think that stems us draining, like let's use that perspective of like draining girls, right? I really think it stems from us not doing work on ourselves. You know what I mean? Like a lot of us, like I said, this doesn't apply to just relationships. This can apply to friendships, family, whatever the case is, right? So I'm gonna give you guys a quick example of like what that kind of looks like, right? So when I was a kid, right, there was this YouTuber I followed. He was like a gamer, like a gaming YouTuber, you know what I mean? And he was super, bro. He was like one of the funniest dudes I ever came across online. He always cracked jokes. He seemed like real goofy, kind of like he had everything together type thing, right? Then COVID came around and he posted a video of him just like bawling his eyes out, just crying like crazy. And it was just kind of like, so he was, first of all, he was really vulnerable. And as someone who was like subscribed to him for so long, it was kind of, I'm not gonna say cool to see, but it was like, damn, you know what I mean? Like it made him more of a real person, if that makes sense. But it was just shocking because I just never seen that side of him. Um, and I was just like, damn, bro, like you really never know what people are going through, right? Especially like, that's why I always say, like, I got a friend of mine who's always like, oh my God, everybody's getting married and everybody has a kid. They're doing this. I'm so behind. I'm like, bro, you got to realize something. People post. I've literally seen people. So you can't compare yourself, man, to people on social media, bro, because people are literally posting what they want you to see. Nobody's posting their L's. Like, bro, people are posting what they want you to see. And I'm not, that's cool or whatever. But I'm just saying you can't judge your life based on what somebody else is doing, bro. Because statistically speaking, people who half of the marriages won't even last in this country, statistically speaking. But that's not that important right now. But I'm just saying, like, you can't, like, people, it's so easy to have a perception online. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's like a bad thing per se, but like, you just never know. Like, there was a girl, I went to school with this girl, and she used to talk horribly about her boyfriend. And then literally after class, that evening, that afternoon, she would be posted up with a picture with him every day. And I was just like, that's crazy, because the way you speak about him, I'd be thinking y'all ready to break up. But anyway, bro. So, yeah, so it was just wild to see him in that light. You know what I mean? So this was during, the cough vid, all that stuff. Can I say COVID? Yeah, I guess I can. And it's just interesting because COVID really made everybody sit down and like face your demons. You know what I mean? So COVID was like that was a terrible year, but it was also kind of like a good year in that sense. It really, that was a wild time. And it's crazy to still kind of look back and reflect on that time, because it was like 6 years ago at this point, which is kind of crazy. Like, we closer to that being a decade ago, if that makes sense. Anyway, so another point I want to chop it up on before I move on, and we get to the fitness corner and all that stuff. So let's talk about being alone versus syncing, right? So you got to be intentional about the time you spend alone, right? Because I had a conversation with my friend like a few months ago, and she was going through like a bad breakup, and I was worried about her because she was like catching me up on her life, and I felt like some of the stuff she was doing, I was just like, yeah, I'm worried, because this is not this is not things that you would do. Like, this is insane. Like, some of the things you're telling me are crazy right now. So we were chatting about different things, and I was telling her, like, yeah, man, like, genuinely, I think you need to be alone for a bit. Like, come to the run club with me. You don't need to, you just need to be alone for a while, right? And she kind of told me, like, yeah, I mean, I was, right? She was saying, like, I was alone. Like, I was in the house for, like, months by myself. But then she was, like, barely eating. She was, like, not getting sunlight. Like, she was doing things that, like, weren't healthy. So we got to be clear. Like, when I say be alone, that doesn't mean just close yourself in your room, lock the door, and then, like, not talk to anybody, not go outside, not take care of yourself, essentially. Being alone is simply like, yo, like, I'm having trouble, they call it like the winter arc, like, going monk mode, winter arc, whatever. Like, being alone is like you had this period of time where you just like switching everything about yourself, like maybe the crowds you hang around, the habits you have. We talked about habits in a different episode, but that is what being alone is. Being alone is like, okay, I need to lose like 50 pounds because I'm like out of shape. So boom, let me lock in. Let me, I don't know, get a trainer. Or do it on my own. Like, you know what I mean? Like, being alone is simply like, we heard the Google definition. Anything that takes you away from your dreams, desires, and goals is a distraction. You know what I mean? So That is the difference. That's so what she was doing was something I call sinking. That's not yeah, that's not what that's not conducive to like your life or whatever. So in another episode, I'm gonna tell you guys how to get the most out of your time. But we got to make our time intentional, build with intention. But we'll chat about that in a different episode. So here's like one more example, right? So like, you ever see somebody who's like always in a relationship, or like always outside, or always just available? It's just like, damn, bro. Like, do you know how to be alone with yourself? Cause like being in a relationship constantly is like, I don't know how people do that. I've been single. I think I've been single for like, hold on, I've been single like officially. You know, I've had like my lady friends in different situations, but like an official relationship, I think I've been single since, what year is this? 2026, 22, 1, 21, 2, 3. Like, bro, I've been like 4, 5 years officially, right? Like 4 or 5 years, right? But anyway, here's the overarching message I want to send with this point. So, master being alone. It'll help you be calm, help you learn to embrace boredom, help you focus better. And like I said, we will discuss that in a different episode, because then I can really deep dive. I can deep dive over that. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the fitness corner, man. So this is the part that you guys might have forgot, because I haven't recorded an episode in a long time. But this is a part of the episode where I give you guys fitness advice, fitness value, in order to help you achieve your dream physique, your dream body, all that good stuff. So today's topic is the mindset to achieving your best physique. So whenever I think about like mindset stuff, right? Because mindset stuff is like very it's very I don't know, it's cliche. It's almost like, oh, not this again. But you know, honestly, bro, like, I don't think we realize how much our mind, our outlook really plays into like our life, right? So in order to get the body you want, you really have to adopt this insane bulletproof mentality or mindset that you can get the body you want. First, you have to see yourself in it. You know what I mean? You got to believe, you got to see yourself in it. And I get it, bro. Like, it's not easy to break habits, start something new. It's kind of scary to do something new. But bro, the truth is, man, like, we only have a finite amount of time on Earth. We just take everything for granted, bro. Like me, like I kind of wake up thinking like, damn, like this is another opportunity to like get after it. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like we take like a lot of stuff for granted. And our time on Earth is small, bro. We never know when we gonna die, man. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, whatever. But you don't want to spend it not being happy with the body you want, right? So you need to build this mindset by action, by doing things. Start moving your body. Go on a walk. Start really watching what you put into your body. Most of y'all just put anything in your mouth, like a little child. Look, if you need any help reaching your fitness goals, man, you can hit me on the gram at Dekufinn, DEKUFINN. So, thank you for sticking around to the end. So, I was slacking. I took a trip to Florida, man, and I got completely out of whack, if I'm being honest with you. I got super lazy with the pod in like a few different areas. But I got some good news, though. I did start a stair club. So, what's a stair club, right? Stair club is essentially a run club, but instead of running distances, we run stairs. So, if you're in the RVA area, we meet every Sunday morning at 6:45 a.m. Yep. Let me say that again. We meet every Sunday morning at 6:45 in the morning. Yes, sir. You got to pull up. I am working on the second day because I've been getting a lot of people hitting me up asking about it. Because, people got church. People don't want to wake up. And I'm here to serve the people. So, anyway, so if you want updates, you can follow the page at Elevate Stair Club. At Elevate Stair Club. ELEVATESTAIRCLUB. Elevate Stair Club. So, I'm kind of excited, man. I'm back behind the mic, yelling in the mic. I'm excited about it. Part of me too, man, like, when I was recording this, like, I tried to record this, like, last night, but I was trying to be perfect, and honestly, like, today, like, I'm really not even in the mood for this, but I was like, bro, I gotta get an episode out, man. Like, I've been thinking about it literally every day, and I don't care how I sound, I don't care how about it being perfect. I wanted to do video, but then I don't have it's not that, to be real with you, it's not that much to set up a video, but I was just like, bro, I already know how to do this. Let me hit this button, yell into the mic, and then we'll work on that next. So, all right, man. So I'm back. So here's updates for the pod, man. The pod is back. Today is Wednesday, right? But episodes will be dropping Monday through Friday from this point on. It'll probably be around it'll be early because I'm an early bird. So new episodes will be back, man, for sure. So I'm excited, man. I'm super excited. I'm gonna have guests soon. I got some boys of mine I want to bring on. So yeah, man. Thank you guys for listening, man. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode, man. All right, peace.